From Peoria High School, we have an inner city showdown tonight. Big 12 Conference and IHSA basketball is live on ClitchSportsAl.com and CIProud.com. The JV game ran a little bit long. We're ready for some high-action basketball in the River City. Alongside former Richwoods Athletic Director Ron Dwyer, I'm Gavin Russell. Ron, great to have you in the booth with us tonight. Great matchup. Two teams that love to hate each other, as we like to say. Great rivalry across town. We're looking for a good one tonight.
Boy, I just really like the way you stated that, Gavin. That's exactly what it is. They do love each other, but when they compete, they really get after each other. So that's a great way to explain it, yeah.
No doubt about it. Lots of great players on both sides. Of course, Richwoods is coming off a couple of really good seasons. They went to the state Final Four last year, made it all the way down to Champaign. Peoria High looking to be in a good spot this year. They're ranked top 10. They're ranked 8th in Class 3A. So certainly big things on the horizon for both of these teams. Game set to start in about 5 minutes. That's when we'll get our introductions and lineups. We're going to go ahead and send it to a quick ad break, and then we'll break it down for you coming up here. Ron Dwyer, Gavin Russell, and the rest of our Clutch Sports Media team will be right back for some basketball action.
We are Local Union 649. Our commitment to safety, our state-of-the-art training facility, and our pride in the work we do to build America is what makes us stand out from the rest. We are Local 649 of the International Union of Operating Engineers, and we are looking for the next generation of equipment operating apprentices. With Local 649, you'll find more than a career. You'll find a family, creating legacies since 1917.
At Ham's Furniture, we have your comfortable, affordable recliners, mattresses, and more. And we offer free local delivery.
Hi, I'm Russ at Ham's Furniture, inviting you to stop in and see what's new today.
Ham's Furniture at 347 Court Street in downtown Pekin.
Welcome back into the gym, the Lion's Den, on the campus of Peoria High School. Fantastic gym here. Great turnout. A lot of people found their seats well before game time. Again, the JV game ran long, and apologize some technical difficulties with our CIProud.com website, but you can find us here on YouTube and on ClutchSportsAl.com. We'll work on getting that other stuff resolved. But alongside Ron Dwyer, I'm Gavin Russell. Ron, big news, or at least kind of from our observation, star player for Peoria Richwoods, Marlon Heron, looks to be out for tonight's game. He's wearing a knee brace. Not sure what the extent of the injury is, but big blow to lose a real senior leader like that.
Yeah, that's too bad. You know, when we showed up here tonight, we saw that. That was disappointing. You always want to see these two teams play each other at full strength. So, you know, Richwoods, I'm sure, will find a way to do their best without him, but it's disappointing, yes, sir.
No doubt about it. Last time these two teams met, it was just a 6-point affair, 63-57. Peoria High got the better end of that one, but like we were talking about before we came on the air, Ron, you just throw the records out the window. I think that, you know, the way they scout each other, the way they know each other, it doesn't matter how good or bad they are. They're just going to play great basketball.
Inner city basketball is just really one of those things you never really can predict. I remember several years watching where, you know, Richwoods would maybe win the first battle, and sometimes it could be by quite a bit. And then I distinctly remember a 6 overtime game we had then in the following spring part of the schedule. So, I mean, go from a 20-point win to a 6 overtime game. We don't know what we're going to have tonight, so that's what makes it exciting.
You really don't, and with all the inner city rivals, Notre Dame, Peoria, Manual, they always play close with each other. Looking at some of Richwoods' matchups, they've lost twice to Manual, but one of the matchups they lost by 6 points, one of them was by 12 points, so they're hanging around with some of the best teams in the state. Really doesn't matter. Looking at some key players, though, we'll go over to Peoria High. They're not a very old team. They only have 3 seniors on the roster. Daniel Ruffin really likes his younger players, but it starts and ends with LaShawn Stowers. He's headed to Miami, Ohio. He's just an impressive specimen on the court. You just can't miss him.
I'm excited to watch Stowers play. I haven't seen him live this year, but, you know, I'm really happy to be here, and it's going to be exciting to watch. Those kind of talents come through Peoria, and they always do well after they leave the Peoria City area. So I'm excited to watch that.
Yep, big body, obviously gets out there. He's listed at 6'5", he can really shoot from just about anywhere on the floor. But again, look for those younger players, lots of freshmen and sophomores that will get after it for Peoria High. We'll have to see who steps up for Richwoods. It's going to be interesting. It looks like both teams will head to their respective benches and be ready for the national anthem. Starting lineups coming up. All the action in store for you here from Peoria High School. We'll take a brief break, listen into the national anthem. We'll be back for starting lineups. Peoria High and Richwoods on ClutchSportsIL.com. Just heard the Peoria High School Pep Band play the national anthem. We're ready for our starting lineups. We'll get them introduced here in just a moment. And it's Richwoods in their traveling green uniforms. Ron, I really like that color shade of green that Richwoods sports. It's, you know, kind of a unique green, kind of a darker shade. You might be partial to it a little bit, you know, your years at Richwoods, but it's a good shade of green, I gotta say.
I got a lot of green clothes, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Bet your closet's full of it. The Richwoods starting lineup is going to look like such. It'll be number 2, Amarion Smith-Holly is out there with number 4, Lawrence Sims. Number 10, Kingston Caldwell out there with number 11, Craven Bailey. And number 21, Terrell Rickman Jr. are out there for the Knights. And now for the Peoria High Lions, they'll be in their home white uniforms this evening. Spencer Russell, the senior, number 1, is out there with Stephen Williams, number 2. Anthony Sturdivant, number 4, is out there with number 15, Phoenix Foy. Daniel Ruffin calls him the glue guy of their team, does the little things. And of course, the big man, 6'5", number 21, LaShawn Stowers. He's headed to Miami of Ohio. So some experience in that starting lineup, but we'll see a whole host of younger players off the bench. From your observation over the years, Ron, what do you got to do to, you know, kind of keep the emotions in check heading into a big game like this?
You know, that was always the challenge, at least from my experience from the Richwood side of things, that these student athletes tend to know each other through just growing up and playing in the grade school system. So they always get really pumped up and psyched up for this game, and sometimes psyched out is the best way to describe it. Even when talent might be one side or the other, it wouldn't matter, and that's what we talked about earlier, because of the psychology of this game. It's a big one, and they know it. It's in their head already. And so either team, and I'm assuming Richwoods is kind of the underdog here, they can't afford to get down early because that'll go right to their psyche, and that could hurt them early. So they want to avoid that, getting down early.
No doubt about it. Both teams would like to put their stamp on this game, and like you said, for Richwoods, even though they might be a bit of an underdog in this one, you just hang around, right? You know, you just give yourself a chance through all 4 quarters, but we're ready for basketball. Tip-off is underway, and Peoria High will get the first possession. Has to be saved a little bit there. Stephen Williams makes the leap. And we'll get going here at the Lions Den. Stowers will work it around. Tries to get it inside. Foy couldn't save it, so an early turnover. And Richwoods has always had good defense. They're pretty active. Both teams are athletic, but nice start there for the Knights.
That's one of the things that Coach Smith always, prided himself on was the defense. He got that from being an assistant with Bobby Darling way back in the days, in the early to middle 90s. And so defense has always been a trademark of Richwoods basketball.
Richwoods trying to make good on their first possession, and it'll get fouled. They'll send Kingston Caldwell to the line. Last season, Richwoods, again, really special season, but a lot of them were seniors. A lot of them have moved on, and pretty much all senior starting lineup. Lathan Somerville, Jared Jackson, so many names to name. But a good opportunity for a lot of players, and free throws might, make or break this game. I've seen both of these teams this season. At times, that can kind of be the Achilles heel.
That always drives me nuts as a former just athlete, coach, athletic director. Those are free throws. There's a reason they call them free. You're supposed to make them. And, boy, when you give those points away, it's so frustrating.
0 for 2 to start there, but Richwoods will look to pick it up from the charity stripe in the game. Looks like Richwoods is in a zone. Three-pointer, Russell is good. Money from the corner. And Peoria High loves to shoot the three ball, and they break that zone of Richwoods.
I'm sure part of the reason we're in a zone is to try to, like you said, contain Stowers. But if Peoria High shoots like that, it's going to be a long night for Richwoods.
Similarly, Peoria High played against East Peoria a couple weeks back and lost as a 5-second close guarding call. Peoria High gets a little energy back, but East Peoria played a zone as well, and early on, the Lions really took advantage from three, forced some adjustments to be made, so we'll see what Coach Will Smith is thinking as this game goes along, but Lions will get the ball back. Another three. That didn't hit anything, though. Richwoods with some pace. Smith Holly will get it back at the top of the key.
Yeah, the styles of these teams will be interesting to watch to see. I see Peoria High's in the zone as well.
Both teams with a zone look. Throws it towards the hoop. Looked to be an off-balance shot. Couldn't get it to go for Sims. And the Lions recover. Definitely looks like both teams need to settle in a little bit. Just
those are those nerves we talked about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Find the footing as Stowers lets one fly. Money.
That'll settle you down when you hit a couple threes and get that little bit of a cushion there.
Peoria High, probably their biggest thing is just keeping it up for 4 quarters. Step back right there is good. What a shot there from Smith Holly. But the Lions played against Manual a couple weeks back. Fast start from beyond the arc, and then kind of got slowed down after halftime. You got to play 4 quarters of it.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I was looking at the preview of the game, the scoring totals and how each team scores by quarter, and it looks like Peoria High has a little bit of that Achilles heel where we see them get off to a good start here, but then they do slow down. I noticed that, yes, sir.
Stephen Williams knocks that one down, so 3 different Lions have hit a triple so far, but long game, a lot of time left to go.
We'll see how long the Knights stay in that zone.
They'll work it back around. Smith Holly nearly lost it. They'll get a 3 try of their own. In and out, no good, but an offensive rebound.
Well, he's not afraid to shoot, is he?
Certainly not. I feel like he can't be afraid to shoot in a game like this.
You got to push it. Yeah, you got to push it, especially with one of your best players out.
Got to be able to match. Again, if you're just joining us, Marlon Heron not in the game tonight. Off-balance shot from Stowers, no good. And with no shot clock, Ron, Stowers is a great player. He can make difficult shots like that, but you got plenty of time. You got the lead. Probably be a little more patient.
I would think so. And the reason I said that earlier is I looked down at Smith Holly, and boy, he's just listed as a freshman, so he's got no fear firing those 3 balls up there. And, that's my old self is showing, because in the old days, boy, coach wouldn't put up with a freshman firing 3s when you're down like that.
The game has changed for sure.
It's changed a lot, yeah.
Change isn't always bad, but.
No, it's a good thing. But you're going to have to make them to stay in this. And like you said, be more patient maybe might be the answer.
That shot clock will be coming in the IHSA one of these years, but for now, no restriction on that. Just got to keep the ball moving around and don't get a close guarding call. Stowers has it back on the wing. Tries to drive off his own foot, has to kick it out. Richwoods very active defensively, but they get it inside. Phoenix Foy gets it to go, and Daniel Ruffin has nothing good things to say about him. He's not going to wow you on the stat sheet as we get a foul coming down, but you love guys like that just do the little things.
Yeah, you mentioned it at the start of the game that I think you said that Coach Ruffin called him the glue of the team. Well, that was an example right there, because when they were getting frustrated with the Richwoods defense, they found Foy, and he was able to get the layup. So there's the glue again, stepping up when he has to.
Loves to find rebounds, plays good defense.
Boy, you just got to love a kid like that, because he does all the little things that every team needs.
Not selfish at all either.
That's important. And nobody wins without somebody like that, and being unselfish is really important.
Can't be measured as Smith Holly tried to take a shot, didn't get the foul call he was looking for. Will Smith might be shaking his head a little bit after that one. Here's Stowers, steps into another one, can't get it to go. But Peoria High gets it back on the offensive glass. There's Foy again, will go up. A good defense at the rim.
Good move, just didn't get it to fall.
Kingston Caldwell had the pressure. And a tough foul.
That is a tough one.
Spencer Russell is newly checked in. Amir Muhammad Williams will get fouled.
And we were blocked from that angle there, and it looked like to me originally it was going to be a jump ball, but I'm sure on the other side of it you probably saw a hand, make contact with a forearm or hand there. So there's where the foul came in.
It's easy for fans sometimes to be
is.
critical of
Well,
the
we're
officiating.
sitting pretty far away in bad angle, so
Right.
the officials, there's 3 of them out there, which is great. They can all get a good view, and they saw it. So
Now you have some family ties to officiating. Of course, your father. I've heard that it's much better to have 3 officials than 2 for obvious reasons. But
it's funny.
Yeah.
If Dad was still here, he would tell you that he would anyway. He'd get angry that there are 3. They always did it with 2, and I had an uncle as well, Dave Dwyer, and my dad. They officiate quite a bit. They did some state tournaments together, and they always did it with 2, which is they always thought this was a little bit lazy. But you know what? The game has changed so much. It's much more fast-paced. They absolutely need 3 now. So sorry about that, Dad, but you got to have 3.
Exactly. Other way, Stowers goes up and in. There was a free throw. One of them was a make. 13-4 is where we're standing at now.
Yeah, it's just kind of creeped. That lead is just kind of, nothing outstanding or showy yet, but just a steady flow of offense. And then, honestly, Peoria High playing pretty good defense on the other side as well.
Sometimes you talk about home court advantage, but this is just one of 6 home games Peoria High has all season long. So not utilizing it too much.
Great move.
Great move, a little short, but got his own board. Steps over. 3-pointer is good. Richwoods answers a little bit there. Craven Bailey gets it to go, but Anthony Moore was able to kind of create that play, got his own offensive rebound, and create that extra possession.
Yeah, that was a nice, again, attacking the basket and then hustling to get his own missed shot. That's fantastic.
13-7.
Ooh.
Another steal. Richwoods.
Thought they had the back door, but didn't get it there.
And a blocking foul as a couple players went down hard. As get a number on that. Jacob Duffin writhing in a little bit of pain.
Yeah, that's tough. Someone's heading full steam down the floor, and he tried to get the charge, and looks like he got a little bit of a sore tailbone there on that one.
So
Took the brunt of it.
Duffin, the freshman, will be replaced by another freshman, Nigel Moore. Nigel definitely can get it done. He can shoot the ball quite a bit as well. And again, a lot of freshmen out here for both sides. I think that, not only the present, but also the future of Peoria basketball continues to remain very bright.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. You mentioned that at the tip-off. I looked at the roster here for Peoria High. They've got actually 6 freshmen on their roster. That's not quite half their team, but pretty close to half their roster are freshmen. So that's exciting.
And to be top 10 in the state, all the while.
With having that youth. And then of course, Richwoods, the point guard, is a freshman, which, that's such an important position. So obviously, Smith Holly's got some stuff there that Coach sees that he really likes him at the point. Can you imagine a year or 2 from now where Smith Holly will be?
Oh, no doubt about it. And we've seen some great freshman point guards just come through the area over the last couple of years that have really blossomed into fantastic players. But got to give a shout out there to Moore, getting on the offensive glass again. So 2 straight possessions, he's created an extra opportunity. This one resulted in a turnover, but nevertheless, maybe Richwoods is finding their glue guy. As it's turned over, Stowers lost his footing. So the Knights with a minute left. What do you do here in the last minute? What do you look for?
Well, interesting. I would look for a good shot, but sometimes we don't get that. Again, Richwoods came here, it looks like, to push. They don't have their best player. They're going to be aggressive, so I don't know what I'll see here. It could be something aggressive, but if I were Coach Smith, I'd look for a great shot here because there's only a minute left.
Lots of time to be patient.
It is the time. We'll see what happens, but aggressiveness seems to be the day.
And Moore is going to be fouled on the floor.
That was a good aggressive move there, but again, 49, almost 50 seconds left. But I think that's the philosophy I'm watching right now, is to take it to the hole and be aggressive.
Yep. And that'll actually be the 15th foul on Peoria High, so he'll be shooting 2 shots. No more 1 in the bonus. We've had a lot of conversations about that. How do you feel about
like
that?
it. I actually like it. I think it's actually, originally when they announced that, I thought it was really going to slow the game down. But it's kind of done the opposite. The games seem to go at a nice, smoother pace because of the rules, and I like the 2 shots. Less confusion, right?
I agree. Still got to earn them, though.
You do. You got to make them. Yeah. That's what you hope to do.
Richwoods has left a few at the free throw line. They only trail by 5. Peoria High keeps pushing it. It'll be Spencer Russell. Run and gun 3-pointer. Spencer Russell red hot from outside.
Great shot. It's a shame, too, because Richwoods had cut the lead there, and then unfortunately, they didn't hustle back on defense, and then he was left open with a 3 and just nailed it.
And ball's on the floor, bouncing around. And finally, we get a stoppage as timeout. Peoria High took the timeout. So
smart. That was smart by Coach Ruffin.
They want to put maybe a little icing on the cake of this first quarter, where the tempo has, and I should say the momentum, really has kind of swung back and forth. The first couple minutes, it was all Peoria High. Yep. The last couple minutes, it was Richwoods. I think Coach Ruffin wants the momentum to end in Peoria High's favor.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he's talking about right now, not to let Richwoods back in it here late in this quarter. We talked about it just about 30 seconds ago. You thought maybe Richwoods would be patient, maybe hold for 1, but they were aggressive, and it turned into, unfortunately, just 1 point at the line, and then not hustling back on defense, they get burned with the wide open 3, and now instead of a 5-point deficit, they're looking at 8, and that's a big game changer. So I'm sure Coach Smith is also using the timeout to tell his kids to get back on defense.
No doubt about it. And that's characteristic of young teams, right? You know,
I think that is the youth, yeah. And honestly, look at, they work so hard on offense to get that point. You know, protect yourself on D. Get back. You know, that's a mindset, right? That's a mental part of the game, really. It's not physical, it's mental.
No doubt. But a steal by Richwoods. So they make good on their defense. 10 seconds to go. They got the last shot if they want. It looks like Smith Holly is going to hold it. He's going to get a screen from Moore. 3 seconds. He drives in. Free throw line jumper at the horn.
Wow.
Is good.
Tell you what, that's impressive for the freshman there. He showed absolute courage and no fear there with that possession.
Excellent shot, and that's where we'll leave the first quarter 16-10. We'll take a quick break for an ad. We'll be right back for basketball action on ClutchSportsOut.com.
Bob Grimm Way starts with us.
Bob Grimm experience, what I like is that, you put customers first, make sure we meet every expectation and make a long-lasting relationship with them so that, they know that we're here for them and for their friends and family.
Don't try to put someone in a car that is not going to work for them. If you don't have what they want, try to get it, the proper vehicle. Again, just treat people the way you'd want to be treated and a fair deal.
That's the Bob Grimm Way.
Sweep-A-Lot takes care of your pavement sweeping needs for your parking lot or landscape. Sweep-A-Lot is backed by Purdue Pavement Solutions, trusted for paving, sweeping, and parking lot maintenance.
The whole time he's retired, he's an amazing man. He's a legend.
Talking about a very special guest there on the court. We were talking about it on the break a little bit there, but
yeah, this is Coach Mike Lawless that they're honoring right now, and he is an absolute legend of Peoria sports. He's involved heavily in cross country and track. He's coached football. I think he's coached anything anybody's asked him to do. He's been around for, 50 years, I'd say at least, in Peoria sports. He was coaching with my father down at Spalding in the early 70s, so just factor those numbers. He's an amazing man.
Very special man indeed, and you love those Peoria legends, and just love sports. It's not for one sport or just the love of the game. And
I'm going to tell you, if you're sitting at home watching this, because you're watching high school sports, it's just the best. I don't know if there's anything more pure or better than high school sports right now. It's fantastic. The energy level.
Brings communities together.
Yes, it does.
Love to see, and again, packed house here at the Lions Den. It's been a very chilly week in Central Illinois, almost sub-zero temperatures, but still coming out for some great basketball as a steal will open up our second quarter as the Lions lead by 6. Another run and gun three. In and out, no good for Spencer Russell. He's had the hot hand.
That hit every part of the rim. It just didn't go in.
Richwoods will really look to push. They're moving lightning quick right now.
I haven't seen these teams live yet, but a lot of folks have been telling me how good Peoria High is, and they certainly are. And then the other thing I've heard about Richwoods is how young and exciting they might be in a year or two. And boy, you can see it on both sides of the ball. Peoria High really strong offensively, and they've got a good bench, it looks like. And Richwoods being, with some of their young players, the basket right there at the end of the quarter by the freshmen is an example of that.
No doubt, and not to say that you don't want to be competitive, but the way the city is stacked up right now with Manual, how good they've been, Peoria High, how good they are, they probably realize, hey, our time maybe not this year to do it all, go all the way, but definitely build for that for the future. And I think that you kind of just have to have that mindset and get good experience. You're playing, top talent right now and getting good experience.
The conference, we've always talked about the Big 12. There's no break in the Big 12. The basketball competition level is outstanding, and it pushes every team to get better. And I think all the teams do get better throughout the season. That's what makes the postseason dangerous for the Big 12 and specifically the Peoria schools. And honestly, with the size of the enrollments, you could see Manual obviously in a different class than Peoria High or Richwoods. And so they could send a few teams on to the, deep postseason runs. We'll see what happens.
There's teams in all 4 classes out of Central Illinois that could make it to Champaign. Definitely have the chops to do it this season. 1A, 2A, 3, 4.
Basketball is strong in Central Illinois, always has been. And,
great tradition of it.
Just a blast. Again, we say it again, it's just a blast to watch high school basketball in this area. And so again, if you're tuning in, thank you, and I hope you're enjoying.
Oh, blocked right there. Smith Holly gets it back though, but finally stolen away. As now the Lions come up. That zone has been suffocating for the most part, and a charge.
Wow, what a great job.
Drake takes the charge. Truman comes off the bench and uses the body a little bit.
Truman's been a 4-year basketball player at Richwoods, and honestly, obviously, basketball, I don't think, if you asked him, it wouldn't be his number one, but he just loves playing. He actually is a fantastic tennis player as well, but he's disciplined, and Coach Smith loves to draw charges, so good job.
A lot of coaches at the high school level do like the charges.
Yep, it's discipline. It's it's mental toughness. It's hard to do. And so that's a big thing if you can get one called. So good job by Truman there.
Richwoods will look to break the seal on their second quarter scoring. Again, got a late bucket to cut it to, at the time, 6.
Nice pass.
Gets it inside. Straight up and down, though.
Great defense.
As Stowers comes away with it, he'll push the pace a little bit more. They'll shoot another 3 is off, and it'll be out of bounds. Yeah, both of these teams definitely aren't being very patient. They're going to just take the first opportunity, which, hey, that's the name of the game.
Peoria High style, again, I haven't seen a lot of them. You've seen in some of their games. I bet that's what they push, and they're aggressive. Richwood seemed to have the mindset tonight that they're just going to have no fear, and what do we have to lose? Let's just take it at them. So we're seeing that on both sides. And then, we talked about the defense down here by the Richwoods player, but boy, great defense there by Peoria High, and Stowers to hold his position and not reach or, bend over where you draw a foul. He went straight up and caused a turnover.
It's very easy to just get in the moment and swipe at an arm or something and get a foul as Peoria High gets another steal. They'll go up. Spencer Russell up for 2, fouled and 1. And a little confusion there. Moore thought he just hit the backboard, but looks like he caught the body going up, and it'll be an old-fashioned 3 chance for Spencer Russell.
That's what it looked like, that he had to get him with a little body there. Spencer Russell really has been the guy right now for Peoria High as far as generating the points. It's I guess it shows you the balance. We talked a lot about Stowers coming in. We've talked about the glue for Peoria High as well, and Foy, and now Stowers, excuse me, I meant to say Russell, excuse me, Spencer Russell has really been the leader here, I believe. I don't have a stat sheet in front of me, but he's probably leading in points right now.
And we'll see if they get the totals put back up on the scoreboard. But yeah, Spencer Russell, a great multi-sport athlete. He can't get the old-fashioned three, but none other than it looks like Phoenix Foy getting that offensive board and leads to a foul. And Spencer Russell gets it done on the football field. Peoria High had a great football season once again. That program hasn't skipped a beat since Tim Thornton has since departed, and just fantastic program.
I'll give you a funny story. I actually got a chance to be in Florida and watch Tim Thornton coach this season, so that was exciting, and they actually won their division down there, so he's doing well, even though he's departed for southern climate.
You know what, I don't blame him some days, especially this week. It's been a little too cold for my liking. Another three from the Lions. Gone a little bit cold from beyond the arc. Ball pinballs and found by Spencer Russell. So the Lions have kind of went a little bit cold from beyond the arc, and he walked. And I think this is a big opportunity here for the Knights to kind of make their blow in return. Peoria High hasn't been making their shots. Now this is Richwoods' time to shine.
It's better. You know, I was going to say they better get going. We're at 4:40 here in the third, and again, looking at the stat sheet before the game, this is where Peoria High has the lull, and we've seen it right here. So if Richwoods can take advantage, then get back in this before the half.
They've still really yet to kind of master this zone defense that Peoria High has employed, and unusual at the times that I've seen them this year. They've been more man-to-man based, pretty traditional. They'll find Smith Holly. Working around the perimeter. Dribbles around. Sims wants that low post look with Rickman, but he'll kick it out, and it's poked out the back. It'll stay with Richwoods.
They need to just move the ball a little bit more. It's getting in the hands of a player, and then they're kind of freezing with it, and they need to just keep that ball moving. They almost got the opportunity, but one more pass there, maybe they would have had a nice. But they've got to keep that ball moving better.
Yeah, great way to break the zone is kind of working inside out.
Have to. Yeah, they have to. And I know they know that. I know they've been coached that way.
The ball was tipped into the backcourt by Peoria High Lions, so it'll stay with Richwoods. Bailey. Not a lot of bodies moving here. Just kind of.
We got to have quick passes. These passes are happening, but they're slow. It's got to be quick. In, out, move it around, side to side. Too much holding the ball and dribbling right now.
Throws up a floater, no good. And on the end line, Spencer Russell stepped out, so Richwoods will keep it going. Substitute for the Knights, Deontay Pollard will come in for Lawrence Sims. I saw during that last possession, Ron, ball wasn't moving a lot. He immediately called for a sub, so I wonder, bringing in Pollard changes things up. Maybe he's kind of a go-to guy as we get a foul on the inbound.
Yeah, I just think coach is trying to, I guess, mix it up in there, get somebody in there. I'm sure he talked to him before he sent him in and gave him some instruction. We'll see if it pays off here.
Stowers will come back in for Spencer Russell. Richwoods looks the inbound. Barely gets it in. Bailey works it around. Finally gets inside, and he's fouled. I heard that slap.
Yes, and that was a good job by penetrating the zone there. So that was well done. It's either got to accomplish it by passing the ball or that time, as Rickman did, or Bailey, I'm sorry, as Bailey did it, you got to penetrate.
We're going to say it was on the floor, not in the shooting motion, so Bailey will start with it again.
See, there's an example again, just holding it too long. We gotta keep moving and screening and move the ball. They're just a little bit in the mud almost here, a little slow. And the time keeps ticking.
They get a wide open shot. Rayer can't get it to go as it's snagged down by Phoenix Foy. Here comes LaShawn Stowers, goes all the way and dunks it!
Wow. Big play, big time play.
take flight, LaShawn Stowers, and he fires up the crowd a little bit on his way
Didn't it
back.
get kind of slow there for a minute? That just seemed to wake everybody up right there.
I think LaShawn Stowers knew it, and everybody hit the snooze button. He said, now the alarm's going off.
He goes, no, we're going to change the tempo, and he did it.
Smith Holly can't get it to go. Gets his own miss. Throws it down. Another missed shot. And Stowers comes up with it again, and he's fired up.
Fired up, yeah. He went out there to take charge, obviously.
Kick back for a three. No good. I think that one would have brought the gym down.
They were ready. The fans were up and on their feet, and if that would have gone, yeah, it would have brought the house down.
And a timeout by Richwoods, and definitely need to reset. Momentum definitely swinging in Peoria's High's favor right now. While we got a break, though, let's check out some standings from the Big 12 Conference. And, of course, you mentioned just how competitive these standings are. Normal Community currently in front. Then Emmanuel 5-0 in conference play so far. Lots of games left to go. Peoria High sits at 4th and Richwoods at 7th, but that just shows you the depth of the conference, and that's not even all the teams.
Right, I mean, I guess I'm recalling last season, too, when you had Normal Community and Richwoods both down in state in different classes, both from the same conference. You could have that again, you know, with Manual this year. I mean, you've got Normal Community probably in another conference, and you know, Peoria High could be in a third division, so that we could fill. It's possible. I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but very competitive conference, very tough.
No favoritism here, but we are partial to Central Illinois, so we'd love to see, you know, 3 teams or 4 teams.
Wouldn't that be something? It's possible.
It is possible, and it'd be really special. We always kind of talk about it. Out of the break, Smith Holly can't get it to go. More offensive glass, though. Rayer gets it up. Another offensive board, and finally cashes in is Terrell Rickman. And that's one thing they have done, a big positive, is they've cleaned the offensive glass really well.
They got after it there. I'm sure after that timeout, Coach Smith gave him a little pep talk, and look at that.
And a steal and a score from Pollard. He just checked into the game a few moments ago.
I'm sure Coach Smith probably told him, hey, you know, after that dunk, we better get going or we're going to get blown out of here. So they've responded.
4 very quick points. And a charge, another charge taken by Truman. And now Richwoods swings it back, and exactly what we would expect from a game like this.
And again, we talked about this earlier with Peoria High and with their glue, right? With their player, but Phoenix Foy, I would say that's, you know, that's what you want coming off the bench. From Rare there, he's drawn 2 charges. That's a great effort.
And a foul going up. We'll see if that is an act of shooting. It might not matter. I believe that's their 15th foul, so looks to be Bailey at the line to shoot 2. Richwoods has left a few at the line tonight. Again, just trailed by 8. Bailey's first is good. Get a big stretch down here the last minute 23. Sometimes you just talk about winning the moment, winning the quarter. Be a big opportunity for Richwoods to maybe win the quarter and get back into this one.
This free throw big here. Yep. So that really helps, yeah. Now a little defense. We'll see if they can get a stop here. This would be big if they could.
A little full court pressure. We'll see if Peoria High is in a hurry or not. Makes a couple of moves. Richwoods really challenging as Nigel Moore, the freshman, tries to get in the low post, and Phoenix Foy got held. That was the last foul to give for the Knights.
I was watching Coach Ruffin there on that possession. He was really demonstrative, saying, get the ball inside, get it inside. I mean, he was clapping his hands and pointing. You know, very smart. You got to get the ball inside, draw a foul, maybe get an easy bucket.
And nearly another steal. Foy gets it back and puts it in. What a tough finish from Phoenix Foy.
Strong. Yeah, he showed his strength there. Went up strong and finished.
So now Richwoods will try to respond. Bailey over to Pollard. 40 seconds to go in the first half. Smith Holly goes himself. Little floater's good. Nice. That's kind of hesitation move.
Really nice. But I mean, again, we're watching a 9th grader there. That's pretty darn impressive. Again, really surprised and shocked at how much, like, he has no fear. It's like he doesn't care who he's playing or where they're going to college. He's taking it right to the hole. So it's fun to watch.
He's playing some next level athletes out there for sure, as Peoria High will slow it down, and it looks like they'll try and take this last shot. 10 seconds to go, up by 6, and fouled. So it looks like Stowers will go to the line, and I think Will Smith, maybe see him at the bottom of your screen a little bit there, but bad time to foul.
Yeah, you don't want to do that with 7 or under 10 seconds. Actually, we're at 7 seconds here.
Got to make them make a shot. Stowers will get a chance to earn 2 at the charity stripe. And the first one is good.
I sure like his shoes he's wearing. I don't know why, but they're pretty cool. I'm a kind of a shoe guy sometimes.
No, I agree. I mean, lots of great shoes out there. Looks like they don't have team shoes. Everybody gets to kind of go their own route.
Their own way, yeah. From up here at first, I looked down, I thought he's wearing sandals, but that's just the design that's on the shoe, and actually they're pretty cool. I kind of like
Now I'm curious what brand those are. They have to go ask him after the game.
Nice job at the line there.
Maybe it was the shoes.
I think it was. Yeah, it's reflecting, it had to be.
Richwoods, 3 seconds. They get it to Bailey. Throws a prayer up, is no good. And the tip of the horn wouldn't have counted anyway from Rayer. That's where we'll leave the first half. Kind of a back and forth. Both teams found, momentum at times. 26-18 is where we're at. Some thoughts from the first half, Ron?
Just I kind of think it's what we previewed. The experience of Peoria High is keeping the lead for them. Richwoods has had runs, but again, little falters, sometimes maybe due to their youth or their inexperience, not getting back on defense. They had that possession late in the second quarter where they had the ball for over a minute when they had, missed shots, balls out of bounds, a foul, ball inbound, no basket. Over a minute they had the ball and didn't score. And you just can't do that against Peoria High because they're just not going to let up on the offensive end. So I guess it's kind of what we expected, so to speak, coming into this, that Richwoods is just kind of struggling and trying to catch up with Peoria High's talent. It still is close enough that, you've seen flashes. Richwoods has shown flashes. Can they sustain it? That's the key, because you just can't have a couple good buckets and then get beat back on the defensive end, because you're just not going to win like that.
No doubt about it. So let's say you're Will Smith in the locker room, focusing on Richwoods for a moment. What's the message? Maybe what do you draw up in the locker room to break that zone, and what adjustments do you make?
Well, I'm sure he's talking about what we saw there with the penetration there, bucket, and then ball movement. Moving the ball on offense, not holding it or dribbling. Sometimes you get stuck dribbling the ball, and what are you dribbling for? I was always taught as a young kid, you only dribble if you're going to do something with the ball. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. Either, look for an open man, move the ball. I'm sure he's talking about defense and not having those let-ups, because that'll cost them. And that's what I would guess he's talking about, is playing good defense, don't have let-ups, no letdowns, keep the intensity. And on offense, let's move the ball. Let's have more action. Let's have more movement.
No doubt about it. We'll talk a little more about Peoria High when we come back, but we'll step aside for a brief break. Halftime here at the Lions Den. Peoria High up 26-18.
Welcome to Braskies. This is your home away from home. First down to last call, we're serving up the good times. Food, drinks, music, and games all under one roof. At Braskies, you'll find what you're looking for.
The heart of Illinois needs volunteers, and you can make a difference. Be part of a global community of people who care. Discover the joy and satisfaction that comes with improving your community and the lives of the people living in it. United Way connects volunteers who are ready to work with opportunities in the local area, driving real change made by individuals like you. Join United Way in improving the lives and communities around us all. Sign up today at volunteer.hoiunitedway.org.
Take the hassle out of pavement restoration with Purdue Pavement Solutions. Whether seal coating, crack sealing, or parking lot repair. And now featuring pavement sweeping. For professional quality pavement craftsmanship, trust Purdue Pavement Solutions.
Meadows Avenue Tap. Slots powered by Gold Rush Gaming, the gold standard in video gaming. Lunch service starting at 11. Meadows Avenue Tap. Discreet gaming, great food, great friends. Our customers have won over 60 million lifetime. Meadows Avenue Tap, East Peoria.
Hi, I'm Jim Arnold with Wayne Dalton Sales and Service. Improve the curb appeal of your biggest investment, your home, with a new Wayne Dalton garage door. Or for repairs on your existing door, call us for service even on Saturdays. Wayne Dalton Sales and Service. It's in the name because it's what we do.
At Ham's Furniture, we have your comfortable, affordable recliners, mattresses, and more. And we offer free local delivery.
Hi, I'm Russ at Ham's Furniture, inviting you to stop in and see what's new today.
Ham's Furniture at 347 Court Street in downtown Pekin.
Welcome back to the Lions Den at Peoria High School. We left off right before the break talking about the Richwoods Knights, kind of some of their adjustments they'd make in the locker room. But let's talk about Peoria High for a little bit. Again, we've talked about maybe some of their consistency issues a little bit. They've played in a lot of really close games all year, Ron. What do you do in the second half? Maybe what's Daniel Ruffin's message to his team?
Yeah, I'm sure that he's talking about his team, about just keeping the foot on the pedal and hustling for the loose balls, rebounds, stay consistent on defense, don't have any letdowns. We know Coach Ruffin's always done a fantastic job here. Year in, year out, his teams are always competitive. Danny's got a lot of experience himself, and so it's just that. Keep the pressure on with your offense. Hustle back, get the loose, outwork Richwoods. Probably that's it, outwork Richwoods.
No doubt about it. Let's take a quick look at our graphic on our screen there. It's the road to Champaign. This is a subsectional that we're looking at, some regional matchups. So loaded. You get kind of that crossover between the Mid-Illini Conference and the Big 12 Conference, and then kind of the outlier there are Galesburg and Geneseo. But up and down there, very competitive programs, kind of representing both conferences. Certainly not going to be easy for both Peoria and Richwoods as they got to go up against some of those teams.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, those are the powerhouses of the conference. When you talk about Morton and Metamora, Washington basketball, and Galesburg always had a great program. Their gym is hard if they end up hosting one of these. I haven't seen the pairings yet, but if they release that and Galesburg is a host, it's a tough place to win. So it'll be exciting, and it's tough. Yeah, there's never an easy way through these regional games because we've talked about already, there's so much good basketball in this area.
No doubt about it. And sometimes it's almost sad because, you think if you put them in a different regional, they may get out of it.
Oh.
There may be state-worthy teams some years that get beat in a regional.
I've seen sadness, right? Yeah. I mean, Washington, years ago, with the Roth kid who could just shoot the lights out. And there was a year where I think Richwoods beat him to get out, but then they turned around and beat Richwoods the next year. But it's a shame to have a team like that lose. I'll go back to your alma mater. This is a while back, but when Manual was going through their run of state championships, East Peoria probably had the best basketball team I've ever seen them have with Vershaw, and I can't remember the other names, but that team should have gone to state, and unfortunately they ran into a 4-year state champion Manual team. So tough.
Yeah, sometimes just kind of the luck of the draw, a little bit of it, and hey, who comes through at what time. But that's a nice thing I think about Manual being in 2A right now. You get to play throughout the regular season, but you can chart your own path in the postseason, whereas Peoria High can chart their own path. Richwoods can go in 3A. I kind of like that a little bit more. And, the IHSA has made different adjustments over the years, but it's always nice to see Central Illinois represented at the state level.
That was kind of a natural progression of the changing enrollments in the city, and it is really nice to see teams be able to take their own path and not get all bogged down and stuck with each other and knocking each other off. So yeah, I agree. It's exciting for the area.
No doubt about it. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back for second half action in about 3 minutes. Alongside me is Ron Dwyer. I'm Gavin Russell. Rest of our Clutch Sports Media crew, Owen Dipfel on camera, and Jonathan Michael on the sticks. We'll be right back for more basketball action on CI Proud and ClutchSportsIL.com.
Need an injury lawyer? Get a fighter. Get a street lawyer like Todd Strong. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He'll fight for your rights. Get Todd Strong. He fights like a street lawyer.
My name is Todd Strong, and I've been representing injury victims for over 25 years. I have a team of lawyers that also assist me in the handling of our cases that have aggressive passion to represent injury victims and get the best outcome possible.
It's time to trade up. A job is just a place you go to work. A career is a path that moves you forward. Trade your job for a career in welding, HVAC, medical assisting, dental assisting, and more with hands-on training at Midwest Technical Institute. At MTI, you don't just get an education, you learn a valuable set of skills you can build on for a lifetime. It's time to trade up. Get the training you need for your new career at MTI.
Welcome to Braskies. This is your home away from home. Food, drinks, music, and games all under one roof. So bring all your friends, bring the whole family, because we could all use a bit more Braskies.
In 1957, Cyril and Lewis Keller invented the skid steer in Rothsay, Minnesota to make farming and agriculture work much easier. Since then, Bobcat has become an integrated and trustworthy household brand. Being the first to bring the mini excavator to North America, Bobcat revolutionized the industry with compact tractors, utility tractors, mowers, and other equipment. Quick and agile, Bobcat is one tough animal. Locally owned and operated since 2001 in Bloomington and Peoria, Illinois.
Welcome back to Peoria High School. Appreciate our sponsors for tonight's game as teams get set for second half action in the Lions Den. Get a quick look, though, at some of the recent meetings of these two teams. And, we've talked about just the classics they've played over the years, but the last 5 meetings in particular, Richwoods has won 4 out of the last 5. Peoria High got the better of their first meeting this season, but the one that caught all of our eyes was back in 2023, that 5 overtime thriller. I very distinctly remember the man on my left, Jonathan Michael, was on the call for that one. Nehemiah Mason with a volleyball line 3-pointer. Incredible matchup, but just overall, this is a great series that these teams play.
Yeah, that's what makes it so much fun is, looking back in the history of it, it's always been a battle. And, yeah, these two teams, when they show up to play each other, they're going to leave it all on the floor. It's exciting.
And a lot of those matchups very close. You see 1-point differential, 2-point differential. This season, they were separated by just 6 points at the final score. Right now, it's a 8-point separation with the Lions in front. We'll see what Will Smith and Daniel Ruffin drew up at halftime. A couple of great coaches connected to the area. Of course, family history on the Ruffin side of things. Familiar name coaching this program since the early 2000s.
Yeah, Daniel's a great story of a Peoria kid who played here at Peoria High himself, and then of course at Bradley University, was a star at Bradley, comes back, what a story. When you come back to the high school you attended to coach, that's awesome.
Special moment, kind of come full circle a little bit. As Stowers starts with the ball, the Lions get their first look at things. Bailey really doing a good job guarding him. Nearly stolen there.
Oh, got away with one there.
Throws it back, but nobody was home. He was looking for Stephen Williams, but weren't on the same page. So Richwoods will get a crack at cutting into this 8-point deficit that they have.
Coach Smith has come out with a little different starting lineup than he started the game with. So we had talked about maybe what he was talking about at half. We'll see if maybe these new second half starters do something to help Richwoods get back in this.
If you've joined us late, Marlon Heron not playing, probably Richwoods' best player, one of their more experienced players. So Coach Smith looking for somebody to step up. Smith Holly can't get it to go. Another offensive board, a second offensive board, and finally we get a foul and 2 shots. And Moore will go to the line, but just all over the offensive glass tonight. Maybe one of the things that Coach Ruffin would like to see cleaned up.
Absolutely. They've got to out-rebound Richwoods to keep their lead and win the game. Interesting here, a point. This is another freshman for Richwoods, listed at 6'2", that got the rebound. Anthony Moore did not start, I don't believe, the game. So he's starting the second half, so maybe coach has seen some, or maybe this is his idea of trying to get Richwoods putting a little more size in there, even though he's a freshman.
Peoria High does have some big bodies. Stowers out there as Moore gets 2 to go, so a 6-point ball game. But yeah, Peoria High's got good size. When Phoenix Foy is in the game, of course, he's down there. They're really physical on the inside, and a foul the other direction. 2 shots. Didn't see a ton of fouls in the first half. I don't believe in the first quarter that Peoria High even Richwoods didn't even commit a foul.
I think you're right. We didn't see a lot at all, and this has been an aggressive start to the second half. Stowers had him beat right off the dribble.
Stowers money from the first shot from the line.
That's where the foul came in. Just he beat him, quick first step.
He'll try to go for his second one. It is good.
Good free throw shooting. Like to see that. Both teams made their free throws there. That was good.
First half a little rocky on the foul shots. Both teams had a couple of misses, but starting off much stronger in half number 2. Smith Holly, the freshman. Works around the free throw line, finds his man down low. Little hook shot, just in and out. That's a frustrating miss there from Moore.
Nice little baby hook, just didn't fall.
And off of Stowers' foot, just saves it. Stowers gets it and will slow down. Thought about stepping in, goes up, and he's fouled. And Bailey didn't like the call. Looked like he caught a little bit of the arm, but Stowers, you just don't know where he's going. You have to be on your toes at all times.
Well, these early possessions by the Lions here, Coach Ruffin, I'm sure part of his time at half was telling Stowers just to take over, because that's what we've seen. 2 drives now to the bucket, both taking him to the free throw line.
Sometimes you need that, right? That's why, the best teams always have star players, guys that can just step up. And we're big Bradley basketball people here at Clutch Sports Media, and Duke Dean has been that guy this year, even when you're not having the best game, but Duke Dean's hit some big shots. And, I think just every team just needs that guy, that leader that can just step up at the big moments.
This is the star they have, and you get it to your star to take over, and that's what he's done. 2 possessions in a row. He's had 4 points at the line by just taking it to the hole, and Richwoods has no answer.
Smith Holly, little hesitation, kind of fake pass, goes up and in. Draws a nice cheer from the Richwoods supporters. Phoenix Foy dumps it off to Spencer Russell. So he'll get a screen back from him. Peoria High's gone away from that 3-point shooting as Stowers goes in again and just muscles in.
3 possessions in a row, they've gone to their big man, their star, and he is paid dividends.
And an errant pass, saved, but it's saved to the wrong team. Here comes Stowers again, and he's fouled on the way up. Probably a good foul. Could have ended in some harm to the rim. We've seen it in the first half.
There was that, that brief lack of focus by Richwoods, just a silly turnover, and that's what we talked about in the first half. They can't afford that. Peoria High is too good. You can't just turn the ball over without getting, a shot to the basket. So that's unfortunate.
There's Stowers, gets a man in the air, goes up, a little contact, and just 4 plays in a row finds ways to get points. I believe he has all their points here in the second half.
He does. He's taken every possession has gone to Stowers.
And a timeout from Will Smith. He didn't like where that was headed.
Very smart by Coach Ruffin. Very smart strategy. Yeah, Coach Smith, I'm sure, is frustrated here. They haven't gotten back. They've made some careless errors, and Peoria High's just gone straight to Stowers.
We got some coaching profiles here. We look at the coach there, Will Smith for Richwoods, and Coach Smith has been at it a while, but the last 2 seasons, back-to-back regional titles for the Knights. First time since 2008, 2009. They've definitely had things going on, and I think that, like we've talked about all night, the projection for the future is very bright.
It sure looks like it. I mean, I've heard the stories and then actually watching tonight, especially the point guard, the young point guard, Marion Smith-Holly for Richwoods. He's been just no fear, ice in his veins, and I think he's one of their leading scorers right now. That's really impressive to see.
I think if we have some articles on CSM Overtime talking about the future stars of tomorrow in Central Illinois, he'll crack that list for sure. And another errant pass. Again, just kind of frustration a little bit there as Muhammad Williams was just not on the same page. Showing the youth a little bit. But we've seen Richwoods have their moments, far from over.
Yeah, definitely far from over. Just really frustrating to watch the silly turnovers happen. When you're in a game that is this tight and this contested, you cannot just turn the ball over like that.
Big credit to Peoria High, though. Again, they've let their star senior LaShawn Stowers go to work, and they've just taken over, made the most of the Knights' mistakes. They go down to Phoenix Foy.
Wow.
The Lions are red hot. It was an 8-point game at the half. Now up to a 14-point lead.
They have just pounded it inside. That's where all the points are coming right now. And that's a great strategy, and it's really paying off.
A steal, a track meet down the floor. barely saved. Stowers, a
He's feeling
deep
it.
three.
Oh,
A little bit short.
I think he was feeling good there, and he let it fly.
A little bit of a heat check. Richwoods caught a break. Step over, three-pointer, no good from Smith Holly. Stowers wants to take it all the way. Good passing, extra pass, a foul, and it'll be 3 shots coming for Sturdivant, and he will go to the line. Tough couple possessions there for Muhammad Williams as he caught the foul, and he's just trying to recover, trying to contest the three, caught a little bit too much of the body.
Yeah, that's a tough one when you give him 3 at the line.
Sturdivant shoots this first free throw, it's good. And a couple of subs in. Looks like we'll have Cameron Gunn, Anton Evans in for the Lions. Both juniors. Peoria High, a very deep team. As Stowers will go to the bench, up 16. And both these teams have quite a bit coming up with some MLK shootouts and showcases and things like that. Some conference games coming up in the next week or so. You know, kind of that point of the season, Ron, where you got to preserve the legs a little bit. You know, you don't want to wear them down too fast and preserve the energy for the next game.
You want to play enough to stay sharp, but like you said, not so much that you lose your legs. And so it's a delicate balance that I'm sure all of the local athletic directors and head basketball coaches work together on trying to figure out the right mix. How much is too much and all that. But
and another steal recently checked in is Cameron Gunn, and Gunn makes the most of that opportunity. Steal and a score.
You were saying earlier the shootouts, those are fun because you get to see matchups you don't see all the time. They cross conference boundaries and play each other. We'll have some good fun matchups that happen around locally.
Yeah, get to see different parts of the state for sure. As Peoria High runs a 3-on-1, up and in for 2 more is Gunn.
That was a great pass. That time he looked to one option, and by looking him off, it's like a quarterback who looks off a defensive back and got the defender to move and then found the open man. That was awesome.
Correct me, that was Anton Evans on that too, and a step out. Richwoods really just having a tough time here, and you know, you can say you're in the game for a half. You know, there's going to be some good things to watch on film, but again, for young teams, sometimes it can just start to spiral a little.
That first half was really competitive, and I thought, you know, if Richwoods came out with a spark, they could really cut into it maybe and make it even tighter. But it's been all Peoria High here in the third quarter, and they've leaned on their veteran players to do that, and by pounding the ball inside.
And you mentioned talking at halftime, Coach Ruffin probably was just, you know, like you're saying, be aggressive and no mercy.
Right.
I mean, they've really come out.
I think they listened.
Yeah, certainly did.
Yeah, they've listened to Coach. And the strategy, we've seen it's not to force the, you know, wild shot or shoot a bunch of threes. It's been get the ball inside to your veteran players. I think it's been obviously Stowers quite a bit. And we've seen, what was it, Foy or Anthony Sturdivant maybe a couple of times. Anyway, they've used their experience and they've gotten good shots. Not wild or crazy shots, but good shots. And they've cashed them in, either at the line or by making them.
Certainly, they've kept Richwoods kind of back on their heels all game long, as this is ballooned to a 23-point lead. Much closer, just 8 points at halftime. Richwoods finds some offensive glass, though. Blocked away, though, and finally gets fouled. A little bit of frustration from Rickman. He probably thought he got fouled a couple of times down there. That's a nice thing about the officiating around here. I really like that they let them play quite a bit and good physicality.
This is looking around, I don't have their names in front of me, but it's a veteran crew. It's really a veteran crew. I've seen them do many games, and they're doing a really nice job with this ball game. That was just a battle that time between two, you know, pretty good-sized kids underneath, and eventually Rickman got the reward for rebounding his own basket and staying with it.
He'll shoot the second one, in and out, no good. Peoria High continues to move at an electric pace. There's a guy we've seen times this season, Orlando Edwards, and I haven't heard a lot of him tonight, but I think that's just how deep the Lions are. There's been moments for Orlando Edwards, knocks down 3 or 4 threes in a game. Tonight hasn't even been, one of the featured guys.
Well, this is good, though, for Coach Ruffin, because with a lead like this, he can get more of his bench in. And again, we say bench. I want everybody to understand just how valuable a good bench is, because, number one, weekly they show up to practice and push the starters, and that just makes everybody better. But now Coach has a chance to create more depth by getting these guys a lot of playing time and experience, because if you're going to make a run, you've got to have everybody. You can't just have 1, 2 guys. You got to have 8, 10 guys deep to really make a run, because it just gets so tough when you make that state run. It just takes everything you've got and teamwork, and this is great for Coach to get these guys in.
Even on a game-by-game basis, you get a guy in foul trouble. For instance, if LaShawn Stowers was to have a game where he gets in foul trouble, you got guys like this.
Great
Evans
hustle.
Comes back, and what a finish.
What a move. Great hustle there by number 3 for Peoria High. That was that Nigel Moore with the steal. That was just pure hustle. Got the ball out. What a great offensive move and a basket for Peoria High. Great effort by, almost got another one.
And a 10-second call, though, and just frustrating on every level for Richwoods.
Yeah, I think we're seeing it. You can see it in their body language, in their face. They're getting frustrated. You just don't want to give up, because if you do, it's just going to get worse. They're not going to let up. And
I definitely think this is one of these games where the final score is going to tell a couple stories. One of being Peoria High playing very dominant, but the second part of it would be, Richwoods just kind of falling short in the second half. If you go based off the halftime score, it's a lot different than what we see now.
Yeah, the competitiveness of the first half was really fun to watch. It's been a little disappointing, honestly, watching Richwoods, because they've just come out super flat and they haven't had a response for Peoria High here. And it's just, I don't know the points right now for the quarter, but they have to be really lopsided and one-sided here for sure.
Fade away.
Wow.
There's Orlando Edwards.
Yeah, you talked about it. That was a great shot. Nice little jumper.
He can make his presence felt for sure. One of those mini freshmen. Three-pointer from the wing is good as Rickman stops the bleeding a little bit, under a minute in the third quarter. And a turnover on the inbounds. It went off the chest of Evans.
And that's what you hope right now if you're Coach Smith, is that the guys you put on the floor give you everything they've got, because if not, like I said, it's just not going to get better. Peoria High is not going to have a mercy rule. They're going to go ahead and keep playing and scoring. So Coach is hoping that kind of effort continues.
Yeah, certainly as a coach, I doubt you'd ever want to, phrase it like garbage time. No time is garbage time. You always get some good experience when you're out there.
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important to have these kind of minutes if you want to make a run.
And blocked, but it's going to be a foul.
Wow, what an effort. That was an extreme effort by Richwoods. I guess it's Aiden Pettis, number 3.
Pettis came flying in from right field.
I just, what did you think? I almost even thought it could have been goaltending.
And that's what I thought they were going to call, to be honest with you.
Right. It looked like it from here that it could have been a good basket maybe and a foul for 1, but instead we're going to shoot 2 here.
I definitely thought more of a goaltend than a foul, but, can't go back and rewatch it, I suppose.
I'm trying to look at these guys' size, too. I guess, Pettis is 6 foot, so he's not too small, but that's not, to get up that high, that's pretty darn good. And then who's the guy at the line? I'm sorry.
Orlando Edwards.
Yeah, Orlando. 5'10", so, man, did they get up for that effort there.
They got the hops for sure.
They were both way above the rim, yeah, so big-time hops.
Richwoods letting another 3 fly, no good. Throws it down the court, but can't catch the Hail Mary. I'm sure maybe the football coaches look at that arm and...
There's your quarterback for next year.
Exactly, there you go.
Yeah, that's the nice thing you mentioned earlier. The athletes here, they play multiple sports, so the football coaches are all here. I see them. They're over in the corner supervising the game. You bet you they got their eyes on some of these kids, and if they're not playing football, they will be next year.
It's not even just football. They have great track runners. And,
oh, yeah. They emphasize that, both schools,
wrestling,
which is good. Yeah, great wrestling, both schools.
5 seconds. The last second 3 is good. Couple of late threes by the Knights. Takes a little bit of a moral victory there into the fourth quarter, but it's all Peoria High as they have a 20-point lead. We'll step aside for a quick break. Be right back on CIProud.com.
Need an injury lawyer? Get a fighter. Get a street lawyer like Todd Strong. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He'll fight for your rights. Get Todd Strong. He fights like a street lawyer.
My name is Todd Strong, and I've been representing injury victims for over 25 years. I have a team of lawyers that also assist me in the handling of our cases that have aggressive passion to represent injury victims and get the best outcome possible.
It's time to trade up. A job is just a place you go to work. A career is a path that moves you forward. Trade your job for a career in welding, HVAC, medical assisting, dental assisting, and more with hands-on training at Midwest Technical Institute. At MTI, you don't just get an education, you learn a valuable set of skills you can build on for a lifetime. It's time to trade up. Get the training you need for your new career at MTI.
Welcome back to Peoria High School. Alongside Ron Dwyer, I'm Gavin Russell. A big third quarter there from the Lions. Not sure on all the stats, but maybe one of their best statistical quarters in the season so far. Scored 23 points in that third quarter. Big effort. LaShawn Stowers responsible for a lot of it, and he stays on the bench, letting some other guys get some opportunities.
Yeah, they really have blown this game wide open into this fourth quarter here.
A couple of late threes, some positives there for Richwoods. Little turnaround, no good. Saved on the play. A lot of effort there to save it. And another tipped pass. Peoria High just ball hawking.
So quick. I mean, that's, again, watching them play here live, you got to be really careful with your passes because Peoria High, they're just so quick on the defense with their feet. They're quick. And I'm sure that's what gives a lot of teams fits when they play them.
Some fans chant from the sidelines. I think they're looking for a specific player. I'm not sure.
Sure sounds like it. Yeah, I would be curious to see who this is.
I can't make out who it is, but there's another steal for the Lions.
Yeah, it's a noticeable cheer from the crowd. They want somebody to get in here.
See that again, that's what high school sports is all about. I don't think they're getting who they want quite yet. We'll see another fresh face. Brian Nicholson Jr., another freshman, checks in for the Lions. And they'll get Kalen Hardy, a 6'4" freshman, comes in for Peoria High. Jaden Williams also checks in.
I don't think the crowd got who they want yet because they didn't certainly react yet, but I'm sure we'll see. If it happens, we'll know.
Who hasn't even come in yet for the Lions? Almost just about everybody has played on the roster.
Sure seems like it, yes.
As we get a foul there on Antron Evans. Elijah Barksdale, three-pointer on the wing is good. Ciante Pollard has hit a couple of those tonight. He's come off the bench tonight, done a few good things.
Yeah, he's done some nice things with the ball. He shot the ball well. Just a junior, so.
And that one doesn't hit much, but the backboard goes quick the other way. Pollard off the foot of Kalen Hardy. And again, this one might be a little bit out of reach here, but big chance to play yourself into some playing time, and I think that's what guys like Pollard and Ray are doing right now.
Yeah, if you don't get a lot of playing time, the best way to get into the lineup is to show yourself now.
And Pollard with another steal right there, and he gets fouled. So Coach Will Smith probably taking some notes on a couple of his subs that played well tonight.
Yeah, Ciante Pollard would be one of those. He's done a nice job. You got to do the best you can with the time you get until you earn it. So this is a good way to earn it right now. Show Coach what you can do.
Curious to see the extent of Marlon Herron's injury as they go up and in. Aiden Pettis. So just like that, Richwoods cuts that deficit down just a little bit.
Yeah, you could, try to factor what if he played tonight into this, but I don't think that even would have made a difference the way Peoria High's played tonight.
And a timeout. Coach Ruffin wants to talk to some of these younger players and kind of get them refocused in and take a look at Daniel Ruffin and just kind of the legacy that he's had His father, Dan, of course, we talked a little about earlier. They've served Peoria High since 2004.
Wow.
Goes back, a long ways. Of course, Daniel Ruffin, as you mentioned, great career at Bradley, the year they went to the Sweet 16. More recently, I'm not sure if you ever followed it, but the basketball tournament, TBT, the alumni Bradley team got together and played some years. Daniel Ruffin was a part of that, so he's definitely left his stamp on Peoria basketball. You see him coaching in the huddle right there.
Got a ton of respect for Daniel Ruffin. Just looking at his career as a whole, you can't help but be proud of a guy like that. He's been a great example to young kids, and that's fantastic for the city and for these kids that go to high school here at Peoria to have a guy like him leading them. I just can't say enough about Dan. I think he's a great example, great guy. He'll be a Peoria legend when it's all over, right?
No doubt about it. And all the coaches, really, Peoria High basketball hasn't had many coaches in the last 3 or 4 decades because you go with the 2 Ruffins, and then, of course, a very notable coach, Chuck Bisher, was here for a lot of years as well. And
I do remember Coach Bisher. He was a fun coach to watch because he was so animated from the sideline, and he had some fantastic basketball teams.
And a little physicality there as the foul goes on Peoria High. Yeah, Chuck Bisher, you look at some of the banners up here, and, won 2003, 2004. I'm not sure if he was a part of the 1977 squad, but 1989, second place. They made some things happen over the years, and certainly
they were a lot of fun to watch. I mean, I think when the outside world thinks of Peoria basketball, everyone says Peoria Manual, but boy, Peoria High has had some great teams as well, as you just mentioned.
As has Richwoods too,
You know what? Yeah, Richwoods. I was a part of a lot of those. I've seen a lot of them. I was there. Can't remember. It might have been 06 when we lost to Derrick Rose in overtime down at the Civic Center in the state championship. Yeah. That was a heartbreaker because the one thing Richwoods doesn't have that the other schools have is they don't have a state championship. They've done everything else, second, third, fourth, all the way, but no state champion. And we have been beat, I think, once on a tip-in and then once in that overtime game. That's the one that always stick with me is the Derrick Rose shot in overtime at the buzzer of the first overtime to beat us. And, but, yeah, plenty of state appearances for all the high school teams here in this area.
Yeah, Derrick Rose, part of those great Simeon teams up in Chicago, and he's having his number retired by the Chicago Bulls.
I saw that. That's wonderful.
Among the likes of, Michael Jordan and Bob Love and, all those guys. I mean, just fantastic player. And again, tough scene there for Richwoods for sure, but still great memories from that.
That was actually played on St. Patrick's Day. So everybody downtown, I distinctly remember, everybody was in green, so you felt like it was our day, but it just didn't work out that way. We forgot about a guy named Derrick Rose.
If you're going to lose to a guy, Derrick Rose ain't a bad one to lose to.
No, that's it, yeah.
Great tradition, great history. Rayer will chuck up a 3, no good. Back and forth. Rayford goes up, he tried to dunk it. Got undercut a little bit. I think he might have just jumped a
half
step too early.
Yeah, you could see. I mean, he was going for the dunk no matter what, and he had a breakaway, but yeah, he went up a little too early and fell a little bit short, but boy, he was excited.
May not have matched LaShawn Stower's one-hand hammer he threw down earlier, but
that sure was fun, yeah.
Gotta love, if you got the ability to dunk in high school, why not show it off?
Let's do it, yeah, so that was his attempt there. How many times, think about that, how many times do you get a breakaway dunk in high school? Not very often, and so he was taking his shot.
You see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, I'm sure it was bright.
Man,
yeah, I was like, oh my, I'm going to flush this thing, and he just fell a little short, although good job there by finishing the free throw and making his second free throw. Good job.
Good composure.
Yeah, really nice job.
Peoria High keeping their foot on that gas pedal, not leaving anything to chance. Rayer gets in, though. He's made some nice plays tonight as well, and you mentioned a 4-year basketball guy. He's been around.
Yeah, that's why you keep a guy like him, because he does everything he's supposed to do. He hustles, gives you everything he's got every time he's in there, and you got to have guys like that, that's for sure.
No doubt, and he heads to the bench a little bit frustrated. Veteran player might have some words for his team later. Lift them up. Stowers and Spencer Russell, and some of the mainstays will come back in for Peoria High, maybe keep their legs loose. Looks like Richwoods also brought back in a couple of their main guys, Bailey back in.
Just sneakily here, I'm not saying it's close, but it has gotten closer. And, you know, I didn't even notice, but it's that 20-point lead is gone, and maybe coach was getting a little bit nervous. He wants to settle it back down and make sure they win the ball game here and not give something away.
And a big win probably would inspire a lot of confidence in Peoria High. That they dropped 3 straight about a week and a half ago. Nice move, as it will be Bailey going to the line. But at Peoria High, they'd won the State Farm Holiday Classic. They also won the Decatur Thanksgiving Tournament, so they've had some hardware this season.
Yeah, those are big wins.
But they hit a little bit of a rough patch, lost to East Peoria, lost to Metamora, and they were part of a 3-game losing streak. Or not Metamora, rather Manual. But they picked it up nicely. They beat Metamora earlier this week in this very gym.
You know, I don't have the schedule in front of me. You mentioned those 3 losses. I wonder the dates of those losses.
Well, and that was one of the things. East Peoria, that was a Thursday game. The very next night, they were at Manual, so back-to-back nights.
Yeah, that's tough.
Double overtime at East Peoria. Then you play a nail-biter with
Saturday.
Manual.
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier about you better save your legs. You got to play, but be careful. And the reason, again, I bring up the timing of the games, I don't have it, but sometimes these inner-city schools, when they play over the holidays, it's different over the holidays for these kids. A lot of them don't have great ways to get to practice and things like that, so they have to scramble to find a way to, you know, if they're not coming to school, it's harder for them to get here. And so sometimes when you see losses by some of the inner-city teams, it's because of the holidays and the lack of consistency of the school schedule.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird, but that's really a factor, honestly.
But you make the point, both of these teams have a lot of freshmen, and freshmen don't drive.
Well,
you know?
they can't. They have a hard time. Yeah, when you're on vacation, man, and most of these kids, their parents are all working. They're not able to get them to practice, so it's tough. So somebody either has to go pick them up, or they've got to get a ride from somebody, or sometimes walk. It's tough. So that's sometimes just the lack of consistency in their life by coming to school. They're used to the school day and all that. Sometimes that throws them off. So I just wondered about the timing of some of those losses. If they were over the holiday,
it was right at the end of the break too. They're probably savoring the last few days of the winter vacation.
That can be a factor.
Yeah.
And when you know what, you see them get back into school here, and they'll get back in their rhythm, and their lives will be more consistent. And then that's when they start playing better basketball.
They definitely have. They've been back in school for a couple weeks.
Well, I would say that too. I want to bring that up, that the coaches have such an influence on these young men. When you're on the holiday, you know, again, the inconsistencies, but when you're at school, coach is there, you're talking to him every day. If you've had a good day or bad day, he's your counselor. He's there to listen to you. He's there to help you, kind of be your pseudo-father, so to speak. These guys both play huge roles in these young men's lives, for sure.
Yeah, they'll look back as travel right there. Phoenix fully got one on the other end, but yeah, look back, and high school coaches are big for a reason. And sometimes, you know, I've heard people say, oh, why doesn't, you know, a great coach like Will Smith go to the next level, or coach, because they don't want to. You know, this is very important for them.
One thing I can say about Will is you could talk to anybody. He is a super example. He's such a good guy to these kids. I mean, he does the extra things for them. I mean, there's all kinds of things he does that people don't ever see. Helps them, you know, make sure their grades are turned in, helps them stay out of trouble and not get into discipline issues, feeds them sometimes when they haven't eaten. I mean, all kinds of little things that people don't see. And that, again, I'm sure Dan does the same thing for Peoria High kids. It's so important, so important. They're role models. And as I'm saying all that, I look at the roster here for Richwoods, and I'm seeing on the coaching bench, there's an Isaiah Donnell. Now, Isaiah played for Coach just a few years ago, so he's come back to sit on the bench and try to become a coach as well. So look at that. There's the influence right there.
Just turning them out left and right.
It's just great to see. I mean, there's nothing better than someone who comes back and coaches at their own high school, because it shows that their experience meant so much to them that they came back to work for that school and give back, which is, boy, the most unselfish thing you can do.
Yeah, a lot of times, obviously, coaches end up being teachers, you know, or faculty in some form or fashion. And shout out to all the teachers.
Gotta
and
have that.
School staff members.
That's funny you mentioned that, because we were at a Bradley thing earlier this morning. We had an admissions visit, and the admission counselor asked the group, how many of you are going to become teachers? And nobody raised their hand. And I was like, come on, guys, somebody. We need you. You know, you got to have good teachers.
If you're thinking about a career out there, change some lives and be a teacher.
That's the thing. You can have such an impact.
Wow, what an and one right there.
Great move, strong move.
Took it all the way up. As Stephen Williams went the distance, and it's kind of just a last-second turn there by Moore. They'll give him the old-fashioned 3 chance.
That was that discipline, and we talked about that's tough to take that charge, and he just started to lean at the very last minute, and that's what caused the blocking foul. If he would have held his ground, which is easier said than done, who wants to get a shoe in the mouth?
Yeah,
not
right.
Me, not me.
When you're looking at a runaway train coming right at you.
It's so hard to hold yourself there and just take the contact because it's coming and you know it, and it's not going to feel good. And just that little lean, that's what caused the blocking foul. So tough thing to do, take a charge.
No doubt about it. As it looks like the bench is going to get who they want. We don't have them on our roster. Maybe pulling up a guy from the JV level. And an and one on the other end. As I believe that'll be Smith Holly, as it will be. They'll go to the line for the and one chance. We'll get working on finding out who number 33 is, but
the crowd's happy. Yeah, this is their guy, so let's hope. I'm sure usually when they find a guy like this that the crowd wants, the team usually tries to get him a bucket, so let's hope he can get that done. I'm sure we'll hear great applause if that happens.
Kamar Edwards.
All right. Well, let's go, Kamar. Get a bucket.
Kamar Edwards. Again, probably playing it from the JV level or something. Is Smith Holly.
Big kid. He's a big kid. Strong. Big shoulders, big kid.
Hustles up the floor. He goes all the way coast to coast and fouled. And 2 shots coming up again for Stephen Williams, a junior.
Well, just reflecting again, the third quarter is what really blew this open. This fourth quarter has just kind of been a little bit back and forth. Richwoods has hung around and cut into the lead a little bit, not to make it such a big deficit, but Peoria High has never not been in control.
They definitely have done a good job not surrendering anything in the second half. Stowers out there. Spencer Russell getting a couple extra minutes. Hey,
wow,
what a
bucket.
play.
Yeah, what a bucket. Big shot.
Anthony Moore gets the fadeaway. Not a three-pointer, but he'll get a chance at possibly making
just flashes, right?
Yeah.
These are the young, we talked about, these are the freshmen for Richwoods, and they show you flashes. That was a flash right there. That was an amazing shot. Drew the foul. So, you know, it takes a lot, but we'll see how they do as the years go on here to see how they develop. But they look like there's a chance that they could be great players someday.
If you can put it together for most of the game instead of, you know, just a few moments.
We're getting those flashes, yeah, that's not consistent enough to win the game, that's for sure.
But they're capable, and that's all you really need. You start just to develop that a little bit. They get another steal right there.
He's going to fly. Oh,
Smith Holly, he dropped it, and it'll be a travel.
He tried the playground move there where he was caught up in the air, got caught by the defense. He dropped it thinking he could pick it back up, but you can't do that. You can't pick up your own loose ball.
Might have been trying to bargain that it got tipped or something. I think you might just know.
I bet that's
pleading his case.
I was going to say that's turned into an argument a couple times on the playground, I'm sure. Like, I can do that. Yes, I can, but no, you can't.
Everybody's got their own rules in playground
Oh,
basketball.
absolutely. That's what he tried to pull there. Playground rules.
Here's Stowers. Maybe looking for one last big moment.
Oh, nice feet. Well, there you go. There's the veteran trying to get the young guy a bucket here that went into the game.
They're looking for their guy, Kamar.
That's really now that's leadership. You got a guy who could just take it to the hole, and he knows he doesn't need to because the game's well in hand. He tried to get it to the crowd favorite. Oh, ouch.
And a push in the back, a little bit of a stumble. Sturdivant will.
I'm not sure if he bounced off the floor, if he landed on the basketball, but he definitely hit the floor hard. And
might have knocked the wind out of him a little bit.
I mean, that didn't look pretty.
Yeah, that floor isn't a soft landing. Beautiful floor at Peoria High School.
Yeah, it is really nice here.
They have the state championships listed out on the baselines, and Lions Den across the side there. Can't quite see it under your scorebook.
These are these gyms in the city. If you notice, the bleachers are all the same.
Yeah.
Throughout. There's rumor has it they're going to build some new gyms next year.
Really? Oh, wow.
And they're going to do all the high schools. So that'll be interesting to see because it could really spruce this place up, and it'll make Manual look incredible and Richwoods incredible. I've heard that's going to happen, that they're going to redo. A lot of these bleachers are, from the 1960s and so forth.
So you would know these gyms are largely original at the three high schools.
So you're talking decades, 3-4 decades old, sometimes 5 decades old. It's time. And it really could change the look in here, but you're right. It's a neat place to play.
A very unique feature. You really don't see it any high schools. It's out of bounds. Are the baskets being anchored into the ground? Pretty much every high school you go to, they fold up from the ceiling or whatever.
From the ceiling, yeah. Manual has this as well. I just think it's a great look. It gives it almost a college feel.
Exactly. Especially when they introduce the shot clock, you'd be hard pressed to.
I can't
tell
wait.
The difference.
Really, I'm excited about that. I think that could really help the game. Honestly, it'll be interesting.
These teams have played with some of that shot clock. The various tournaments and stuff have had it. Up the floor all the way. Nice finish. Cameron Gunn got it to go. Is about a minute left in the ball game. It's been all Peoria High in the second half. Driving down, throws it up.
Oh,
no good, but Rayer
there he is
follows.
Again. Mr. Hustle. Yeah, everybody's got to have a guy like Rayer on their team.
And a nice all-the-way finish from Williams. Adds a couple more to their total. 18-point lead. See if Richwoods has anything left in the tank.
The old jump stop.
Williams going to keep pushing it.
Good hustle that time.
Both teams want to get their last lick in. Three-pointer, no good. Richwoods will get another crack at it. Maybe a little condensation on the floor. Slippage.
Yeah, Mike Olson went to school here, so knowing Mike, he's a hockey player. There might be ice under this floor.
There might be.
Who knows?
Nice and slick. Last second three-pointer is good. Elijah Barksdale beats the buzzer, and that'll end the game. A half-court heave, no good. That's where we'll end it. 64-49 in favor of the Peoria High Lions. It was a close game at the half. They pulled away towards the end. Ron, some takeaways from the game.
I think we both kind of thought coming in here it could be this kind of game, and it was. Peoria High just demonstrated their experience using in that third quarter. What was it, 4 or 5 possessions in a row? They went inside to Stowers. That's what blew the game open. Great strategy by Daniel Ruffin. Richwoods just doesn't have an answer right now. They don't have the physicality to play with Peoria High, but their future looks good. We saw some flashes from their freshmen.
Definitely a team that on any given night I wouldn't want to see Richwoods.
No.
They can make you pay,
They could.
They turn it on, they're going to get going, but Peoria High, a different
I'm excited,
animal.
really, to watch Peoria High to see how they finish their season. They've got a really nice team here.
They're 8th in Class 3A. They've beaten 2 local teams, both who were tied for 5th, Morton and Metamoris. So a long way to go. We'll be right back to finish this one up after a quick break on CIProud.com.
Meadows Avenue Tap. Slots powered by Gold Rush Gaming, the gold standard in video gaming. Now serving breakfast Saturday and Sunday at 7. Meadows Avenue Tap. Great breakfast, discreet gaming. Our customers have won over 60 million lifetime. Meadows Avenue Tap, East Peoria.
Technology is evolving faster. Machine learning, changing our schools, our jobs, the world as we know it. What does it mean? Are we prepared? Project AI. The conversation starts February 9th on WYZZ.
It's Fox College Hoops Friday. 2 Big Ten powerhouses collide in prime time. Michigan, big time, takes on Purdue. Bam! Fox College Hoops Friday tips off at 8 Eastern.
And back at Peoria High School alongside Ron Dwyer, I'm Gavin Russell. Wrapping things up after a 64-49 final as Peoria High gets things going. According to the scoreboard, at least, it was LaShawn Stowers, 19 points in the game. And we mentioned he just took over, in that second half, 4 or 5 possessions in a row. He had it going on. Really didn't even flex his muscle from beyond the arc. That they can really do it all. Peoria High is not a one-trick pony.
Yeah, it was fun. Early on, we saw those threes we mentioned, how they were hitting threes left, right, and central. But then in that third quarter, yeah, that was all inside. Pound the ball down to Stowers, let him do his work. He got fouled. He went to the line, made both. Usually, I think every time he had a possession there, he didn't miss a free throw. Capitalized, scored buckets. Yeah, just great strategy by Dan to tell him to get inside to Stowers, and he just took over.
No doubt. Looking at some upcoming games for both of these teams. Peoria High, they'll play in a shootout against Milwaukee Academy of Science, so they'll play an out-of-state team. They're 11-1. I imagine they've got to be
challenge. That's what you want. Yeah.
Hillcrest on Martin Luther King Day, and then next week they'll match up with Peoria Notre Dame. As for Richwoods, they've got some upcoming games. They'll be at the ICC shootout, Lorton South County. They'll play at Pekin next Tuesday. Danville and Peoria Notre Dame, a couple of conference games coming up. You like the mix on the schedule. You get the conference, you get the shootout. It's really challenging for both teams.
Yeah, this is a really good time of the year to get. If you're having a run like Peoria High, you want to be challenged right now. This is a great time to be challenged. So do that work right now, and like you said, maybe taper your schedule towards the end when we get closer to February, and save those legs. But great time to be challenged right now, and I think that's why they have those shootouts. Everybody wants to be challenged this time of year.
Yep, especially can play with the shot clock and some extra rules. Yeah.
Let's see what we can do.
Finish up with some leading scores. I mentioned LaShawn Stowers, 19, 12 points for Marion Smith-Holly, the freshman point guard who did some good things tonight. He wore number 2. He scored 12 points. So both teams with some good showings. Phoenix Foy had 10 points. The glue guy probably had quite a few rebounds and things as well.
He did a lot of great things, yeah.
But certainly an excellent evening from the Lions Den and a 15-point win for Peoria High. For Ron Dwyer and the rest of our crew, Owen Dimple behind the camera and Jonathan Michael behind the sticks, it's Gavin Russell saying so long from Peoria High. We'll be back for more IHSA basketball action in Central Illinois coming up soon. Stay tuned. But again, tonight's final 64-49 in favor of the Lions. Good evening, everybody.